No one really did anything so particular this week to get a Shiyur Klali called out. Okay, so we're kind of astounded at what Elia Porzio did, which is it's really, I can't understand actually, like, people train like months for this. How did he do it? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, but I just want to give you one warning though, guys. I'm starting to get a little nervous. So I'm just telling you ahead of time, anybody who outdoes him is not going to get a club. Okay, guys? Okay, that's it.
You said that last time though.
What?
You said that one more time.
Thank you. I said you could raise it one more level. He has now done so. Okay, but that's it. Okay? Alright guys, so yes, Raymond.
You meant for your wife this Shabbos, she's not going to be able to compete.
With? Okay.
Don't pay attention to Shiyur Klali. If you did, you would get it.
No, Raymond's okay. I'll explain it. Take it easy. Raymond, it's actually not true this week because my wife's company had a day in Tel Aviv where they heard one of the people who was captured by Hamas and was rescued to speak. So that's pretty good. It might even be Mr. Borzi over there. Okay? So she might have more interesting stuff at the dinner table. Okay, so in any case, I'm pretty excited about today's topic because I've been doing this for a long time, so I have like 90 to 100 Shiyur Klali sheets, so I usually don't prepare it fresh. I just take it out of the freezer and warm it up. But I was intrigued by this week's panel, so we are doing a new topic that I prepared last night. Okay, so remember Rav Moshe told the story about someone telling Rabbi Aaron that his Tanakh learning was Bittul Torah. Right, and we thought that was a pretty silly thing to say, which I still think so. Okay, but then Rav Gav said maybe there's a Gemara that endorses that. And maybe it does have a source. So we're going to see if that's true or not. Is it at all possible to think that Tanakh learning is Bittul Torah? Okay, so here we go. Let us go to the Gemara in Megillah. Okay, source one. Okay, Tanya Mechi Kohanim B'Avatotan Levim B'Tuchman Yisrael B'Mamadan. So all of Am Yisrael that's involved in their Beit HaMikdash endeavors. Okay. There are more sheets somewhere for people to get. Someone's where the extra sheets are lying on? Or over there? Anyone have extra sheets lying around? No? Okay. Ethan Silveraz?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, Kulan Mevatlina V'Totanu Ban L'Shvon Megillah. Purim comes, they all put it down. So the Kohen who's about to do had no Tzrika Adam and Shchita. No, now I have to go here to the Megillah on Purim. Fine. Mikan Samchu Shel Beit Rebbe. So what Rebbe determined based on this? You stop your Talmud Torah and go here and make a Megillah. Okay, so now I'm kind of curious. Sometimes you wonder, like, why it took a while for a question to get off the ground. For some reason, none of the Rishonim asked this, and all of the Achronim asked it. I don't know why. Either Rishonim didn't think of it, or they all thought the answer was obvious. But what's the obvious question here? Wait, you're Mevatel Talmud Torah to hear the Megillah. Isn't the Megillah Talmud Torah? So it's true, you might be closing your Gemara Kiddushin, but you're just transferring to a different form of Talmud Torah. So why refer to that as Mevatlin Talmud Torah? Okay, so before we're going to see 6 or 7 approaches, guys. But does anyone have a instantaneous reaction? Why the Gemara would call this Mevatlin Talmud Torah if you were going from one form of Talmud Torah to another? Okay, Jack, what do you think?
It may take some time to get to the
Oh, very good. So Jack says it's not that the Megillah is the Bittul Torah, but some extraneous factors, such as having to get there. When you're going from, your Beit Midrash to the shul, maybe you're not so good at learning on the way, you're distracted, and at that point, that would be the Mevatel Talmud Torah. Okay, excellent. Nace, what do you say? Wait, Nace, this is your first time speaking in Shiyur Klali?
I guess.
Great. I think I always tell you, when I was a kid, they would have these radio talk shows, they would recognize if you speak for the first time. Like there was even a phrase, long-time listener, first-time caller. You know that phrase? Okay, Nace, that's you. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Here we go.
Maybe because it's not technical Talmud Torah because women are obligated.
Why in the world would that make it not Talmud Torah?
Because women are obligated doing it.
But yeah, but they're not obligated qua Talmud Torah, they're obligated qua Mikra Megillah. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I would not say that. Jeremy.
I love what Jack said because I think that's what I said ba'im on.
Yeah, Femo, good deal. Yishama.
I may be off. It's something about an activeness of learning Torah, which is different than listening to Megillah.
Ah, you're saying it's a different kind of experience.
Yeah.
And therefore it should be categorized differently.
Yeah.
We'll get back to that at the very end. Max, you look like you're hesitant there, Max. Go for it, live dangerously, let's go.
Maybe it's because the whole idea of Purim and Megillah is from the rabbis, and Talmud Torah is just straight up from the Torah.
So it's a lesser quality Talmud Torah, is that the point?
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, so I'm not going to make it about Rabbanan, but let's put in your, on our mental possibilities, is there such thing as a qualitative Talmud Torah distinction? That somehow it's a reduction in the quality of your Talmud Torah. Yes, Yaakov?
What is Torah Shabbat and what is Torah Shabbat?
Okay, but which do we prefer?
Torah Shabbat.
And Megillah Esther is which?
Torah Shabbat.
Why is Megillah Esther Torah Shabbat?
No. Opposite.
So then, but it's a little problem though, because we're saying it's Bittul Torah when we're going to the Esther reading, right? Okay, Moises.
Wait, are we saying that this is like an issue that?
No, we do it. The question is why is it? Okay, let me clarify, guys. No one says you should ignore Mikra Megillah and stay in the Beit Midrash. What's the halacha? Mivatlin Talmud Torah to do Mikra Megillah. What's the question, guys? It's about the description. It is described as an act of Bittul Torah. Why is it an act?
Why is that an issue?
Why should it be Bittul Torah?
Meaning, doesn't bittul just mean like doing like refraining from or not doing?
So you're saying all the Gemara means is that I leave the Beit Midrash. That's all it means. It doesn't mean that I'm not doing Talmud Torah.
Or like you stop doing your you stop doing your mitzvah. Doing Torah.
So what about the fact that let's ignore Jackson's point for a second. What if my Talmud Torah and maybe Mikra Megillah are in the same room, like here in Yeshiva? So here we go. Let's go. Let's pick a very serious shot. Who we go with here? Okay, let us go with Gavi Teresh. That is true. Okay, Gavi Teresh, he haunts the Beit Midrash from 10 to 12. Okay, there are going to be legends about this mysterious figure who walked the aisles of the Beit Midrash at 11:30. They're going to say it was a ghost of an old student. Okay, but no, it's not. It's Gavi Teresh. Okay, so that's what Gavi Teresh is learning in the base. And now, Purim comes. He closes his Gemara and starts reading Megillah Esther. So where's the Bittul Torah? He just went straight from one piece of Torah to a different piece of Torah. Right? Why would we call that Mevatlan Talmud Torah? Yeah, Gabi.
I have a question. Are we not talking about the mitzvah of to listen to the Megillah?
We are.
So then can we just say that if we're just switching mitzvahs, going from Talmud
Okay, but who hinted at this before? Was that Max? Someone hinted at this before. That maybe the fact that it's a different experience, but this is really wild, guys. Would you say, because I'm doing an act of Kriyat Megillah, I'm actually not doing an act of... That's a very interesting idea, Talmud Torah. Because couldn't someone have said, it's a double win? Right, what am I doing right now? Mikra Megillah and Talmud Torah. Right? In theory, there's no contradiction there. But by the way, it's interesting, because if it occurs to me right now, you could estimate a lot of other things also. What do you guys think? Every time I say Kriyat Shema in the morning, am I fulfilling two mitzvot or one? Right, would you say, okay, that's just an act of Kriyat Shema? Or no, every act of Kriyat Shema is also an act of Talmud Torah. I think it's interesting experientially. Does one experience somehow crowd out the other? Okay, Adin, what do you think?
Could it be because after you read Megillah, you're not going to go to the study Torah, you're going to go have a sukkah and drink and all this?
Okay, so we'll see something very similar to what you said in a second. Okay, Amitai, what do these Chachmei Holland say?
Could it be reacting to Oshek Mene Mitzvah, where you can't just say, I'm learning Torah, so why would I learn this different piece of Torah?
Okay,
For someone who learning Torah, they say, stop Torah you're learning and learn this specific piece of Torah.
Why do we call it Mevatlan though? Why do I refer to as Bittul Torah? I'm not sure you've explained that. Okay, oh my God, there are like 85 suggestions here. It's a very intriguing topic. Okay, I shouldn't do this, I'm doing it anyway, especially because it's on tape. I was very hopeful that Noah K's dad would come. His dad also does a lot of great stuff for Am Yisrael, but his dad's not here. So we can only assume that Sarah Walkenfeld is more serious than Yehuda Kurtzer. Go ahead.
It's possible that because you're so required to listen to
Megillah reading is like less Talmud Torah and more like, oh, you have to go listen to it.
Okay, so you're on the right track of everybody else. That somehow a different identity crowds out the Talmud Torah identity.
Yeah.
Right? You're just furthering that idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Maybe the lack of stream of Shem and Megillah there is like using something.
That's very interesting. So let's call it again like the qualitative one somehow. Somehow there's been a qualitative reduction with Talmud Torah. Okay, last. Alright, we'll go for it. You guys are great. We'll go last four. Yehuda G, what do you say?
I think the most logical answer makes sense that the function of hearing Megillah is overall just a different functional form of a classic Talmud Torah setting.
I mean, you're agreeing with this idea. It has a different identity somehow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think meaning the idea of what we say with Talmud Torah is when it applies to the idea of hearing someone read Megillah and you follow.
Okay, Ariel.
Because the Gemara has both Pesukim and Torah's Blau, it's maybe a high, like it's high level than just Megillah.
Okay, so basics to confirm we've got. We basically have three kinds of answers here. You guys did a great job. One kind is the Jack kind of answer, that it's not Bittul Torah in any direct sense. It's some extraneous factor, such as walking to shul. We have the approach that it actually isn't Talmud Torah, but it's because the two identities are at clash, and somehow the Mikra Megillah mitzvah crowds out. A lot of people said this in different ways, but that was the second kind of answer. The third kind of answer is that somehow it's a qualitatively less Talmud Torah, and the question is, what makes it qualitatively less? Okay, that seems to be the basic three answers on the board. No marks.
Maybe actually switching from your Talmud Torah to the Mikra Megillah isn't Bittul Torah itself, but the fact that you've just gone to Mikra Megillah means that after Mikra Megillah, you kind of have lost your flow of your Talmud Torah.
Okay, good. So, someone said something similar to that before, who was it? I did. We're going to say that their approach is a little bit similar to the Jack approach. Obviously not the same, but what's the point? That somehow this opens up a period of time where you actually won't be learning. Let's call that the third approach. All right, I've never done this before, having let so many comments go by, but it's just too interesting. We're going to keep going. John.
Is the Gemara assuming that you're hearing it or reading it yourself?
Oh, and where are we going to go with that?
Shemay.
Okay, excellent. See, guys, one good thing is if you sometimes stop and think, you can anticipate a lot of things the class and the first one we're going to say. Excellent. We'll get to that one second. All right, last two. You did ya?
I have a question on the question itself.
You have a question on the question?
Yeah.
What is your question on the question?
It talks about, I found it pretty astounding, but basically the idea of burying a dead person that, like you see a dead body cut some on the road. So
Wait, can I cut you off for a second?
Yeah.
You're referring to a different part of the Gemara that is not relevant, or not. We're not going to address in Shiyur.
About how...
You're talking about where mitzvah fits in these clash of mitzvah, right? That
Yeah,
you also...
I was going to say Kriyat Megillah is the only one basically that I know of where...
Okay, but if it's okay with you, we're not going to address that.
Sure.
Okay? Yeah, Rui.
Maybe it's not the mitzvah of Megillah that we're actually concerned about being in Bittul Torah. Because we know that listening or reading requires us to be attentive to
Okay.
concentration. Maybe we're just worried that if we lose concentration on that is the Bittul Torah.
Okay, interesting. All right, should we let one more? We'll give Gavi Spinner a chance? Okay, only if he invites us to the Friday night Kiddush at the Great Neck Synagogue. With where's Moshe Amir? With hot dogs, right, Moshe? Okay, and buns? No? Oh, okay.
No bloods?
No blunt?
What do you think, does that count? All right.
Kind of jumping off the road, could it be that if you finish learning your Gemara and you won't be fully focused on Megillah because you'll still be thinking about the Gemara, therefore you're not having full intent in listening to the Megillah?
Okay, here we go, guys. We will now, we're just moving on. We will now try to find all these approaches in the traditional commentaries and see if we can deepen the analysis a little bit. So let us start with the Jack and no marks and a din approach. Maybe it's really not the Megillah per se, it's something else that happens. So if Ellen could go to the Maritz Chayot. Tzfir Chayot was a scholar from the 1800s. He's found in the back of Vilna Shas. So look what he says here in source 4. Chacham echad b'tshuva and Mor Yaakov ben Ephraim hikshed heich shayach loshem mevatlin Talmud Torah. Right? How can you say mevatlin? Darish kriyat Megillah in the Great Gamkein Torah. The dekoi al hahiluch. Maybe it's referring to the walking. Look what he says. Harikaim lan Megillah bisman according to Biyachid. At first he doesn't like that because he says if it's the 14th of Adar, I can read it even without a minyan. And what's he pointing out? I could therefore avoid the travel. Whatever I'm learning, I could just read the Megillah. Right? But then he says, this rates the guys, I'm not going to do it inside. Those who want to read it inside. Okay, let's just do a general, little Purim tangent for 1 second before we get there. Yes, what's your name?
Noah.
Where are you from now?
Kansas.
Great. Which program are you in?
It's Mechina Neili called Bnei David.
Sure. I have heard of it. It's the most famous Mechina out there. I assume that means you're pre-army.
Yeah.
Okay, how did you get to Zionist States?
We lived here for a year when I was in first grade. We visited a couple times.
Wow, that's been a very impactful first grade. Terrific. Okay, welcome on. Okay, so here we go, guys. So, this is very interesting. Okay, let's talk about Purim for a second. This year, you guys are going to get to benefit from what is called a Purim Mishulash. Now, why is that? Because there are really two celebratory days of Purim. Guys, why are there two celebratory days of Purim? Just in terms of the narrative. Why are they two? Because of the narrative? Remember that in Shushan, they fought for one more day, and therefore they rested on a day later? So outside of Shushan, the day of rest was the 14th of Adar. In Shushan, the day of rest was the 15th of Adar. So in theory, you could have said, all over the world we celebrate the 14th, and in Shushan, we celebrate the 15th. But how did Chazal choose to formulate the halacha? Any city that is walled like Shushan, namely was walled from the time of Yeshua ben Nun, why that's picked is quite interesting, reads on the 15th. So, fortunate for us, which cities are included in that little category there? Yerushalayim. So all of a sudden, on a regular year, Yerushalayim celebrates Purim a day later than the rest of the world. Right? The rest of the world celebrates on the 14th, and Yerushalayim celebrates on the 15th. So that's why it's great to come to Israel for the year, especially if your yeshivas in Yerushalayim. In theory, you could celebrate 2 days of Purim. Like on the 14th, you go visit someplace outside of Yerushalayim and celebrate, and you come back for the night of the 15th and celebrate here. Okay, why do we have something called a Purim Mishulash? Because this year, I don't know what day of the week the 14th is? Friday. The 14th is Friday. Now, does that create any tension for me, who lives in a lone shvut? No. The only thing is it's actually maybe a little bit of pain to have your Purim Suda on a Friday. It's not the most convenient time for a Purim Suda, right? But my totality of Purim will be on Friday. What about you guys, you Jerusalemites? Right? By the way, Eli's also the 14th. Sorry, you don't get this. Okay, what about you Jerusalemites? Your day of Purim is actually Shabbos. And you have to wonder, like, what Purim thing should I really be doing on Shabbos? And what if I tell you some of your Purim stuff is going to get moved to Friday, and some of your Purim stuff is going to get moved to Sunday? Lo and behold, you have a Purim weekend, a 3-day extravaganza. Okay. So that is called a Purim Mishulash. Okay, what does the word Mishulash mean? 3, right? Like Shalosh? Okay, now this is a real tangent, it's not doing anything, but it's very entertaining. Okay? So this is good entertaining in terms of learning Hebrew. This combines Hebrew, sports, and yeshiva high schools. Okay, ready? Okay, here we go. Okay, this is special for the Philly guys, okay? Okay, so you may not know this, but Kobe Bryant's father was also a professional basketball player, okay? And after, he's not particularly good, but he was a professional basketball player. And he then coached high school basketball when he retired. Does anyone know which Jewish school he coached? Say he coached the girls' team of Barak when it was called Akiba.
Yeah.
Yes, before it was Barak. He coached the girls' team. This is true. You can look it up. I would not mix this thing up. And they wanted to be able to call out plays that the other team would not understand. So one of the players said, "I've got a great idea. Let's call out plays in Hebrew." Right, because then we'll understand, and the other players, the other team will not. So they taught, I don't know his first name, his nickname was Jelly Bean. So they taught Jelly Bean Bryant. Was it Jim? What was his first name? Jim Bryant. Anyone know? What was his first name?
Joe.
Joel?
Joe.
You know because of the Philly connection? Or because you know basketball?
Both.
Okay. So they told, now one thing I don't understand is like why the other team wouldn't catch on at some point during the game. But in any case, they told Joe Bryant, they told him like 6 Hebrew words. So let's say they wanted to run the triangle offense. So Joe would call from the sidelines, Mishulash. Okay, and then they'd run the triangle offense with the other team totally ignorant of what they're going to do. Okay, so that's just a good trivia piece of Jewish history. Okay, Joe Bryant calling out Hebrew plays from the sidelines. Okay, guys, look it up on the internet. I did not make it up. Eitan, did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay, it's like known Philly lore?
Yeah, yes, kind of.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I see, you're not into it. You gotta hang out in Philly or with this guy. You're at the wrong hangouts. Yeah, that's right. In Lower Merion suburbia, no one knows about this.
Well, that's where Kobe went to high school.
True.
Rob, I got that one from my father. He's passed.
Oh, you do it also?
Passed
I bet your dad loves that, right? Okay. So, yeah. I don't think Barrack Academy plays that many Jewish teams. How many Jewish teams do they have in that area? Like, who could they play besides Kohelet? By the way, when he coached, I don't think Kohelet existed yet. So, yeah, who else do you play? What other Jewish teams do you play?
Well, there's Masifta, which
No, Masifta didn't exist yet either.
They don't play. They don't play Akiva.
Oh, because they don't play co-ed schools.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Just two more pieces of Akiva lore that are very fascinating.
Yeah, go ahead.
The person a grade older than my dad was on Shark Tank. He created Scrub Daddy. And
Okay. I have to admit that's less exciting to me, but okay.
He's older. The guy who's now the governor of Pennsylvania, and you'll probably.
Oh, Josh Shapiro went to Akiva?
Yeah.
That is exciting, actually.
And his kids go there.
What?
His kids go there.
Wow, that's pretty committed. Okay, excellent. All right, 2 out of 3 good pieces there. Okay. All right, guys. So back to where were we? Okay. So that now, does anyone know another city that might have been walled? We just said so. If you're in Shushan, it's the 15th. If it's Yerushalayim, it's the 15th. Anyone other city that might be in the same category? Roy? Oh, it could be. I don't know. Why? Just curious, where you get that from?
I'm pretty sure it's like the old city of Damascus.
Okay, you know what? Okay, I'll pin it down a little bit more, guys. A city in the state of Israel that also might be. Shimmy, here we go. Nope. What? Okay, I was thinking Tveria. Okay, you knew that? Okay. Oh, you was not a good example. Okay, but what if we have a suffix about Tveria? What might have a suffix about Tveria? We might end up reading the Megillah on both the 14th and the 15th. So he claims, look at the end of the Martz Chayav, guys. The F Sha'od L'Shabir, the Misavkilu, they were in doubt. The Kari Biyadal V'Tedvav. They read on the 14th and the 15th. Vimke Lo Have Bismana. Wait, so based on what he said before, guys, it wasn't Megillah Bismana, what they have to do? Minyan, which means you had to leave your private midrash and walk to shul. So again, that was just interesting background to know. It's not really crucial. What's the basic idea of the Maratz Chayot? It's not that the Megillah is the Bittul Torah. The Bittul Torah is walking to shul. As you said, Jack, very good. You and the Maratz Chayot. Okay, let's find out Noah and Adin's approach. Yitzchak Beck, how's it going back there? Is there any? Yitzchak, can you find the Shiyur Klali like this in Strasbourg? Okay, good to hear. Okay, here we go. That's why you had to come to yeshiva. Okay. Here we go, guys. Let us go to the Rashash. Rashash is also in the back of the Rashash, also 1800s, and he has 2 answers. But I will look at his second answer first. Can you see where it says Gam Yesh Lomar in the 3rd line? So look at the case he generates. But the case he generates is very similar to what Noah and I didn't try to do. Gam Yesh Lomar Harav Shalomedim Talmidim. The Rav is learning with the students. Vehema Kvar Shamu. V'day. Already heard. Okay, now don't call it out, guys. I'm really curious. Who could tell me what the next Rosh Tevot is? It is not what its standard is. The standard would give you Makom. That's not it. Does anyone get it? Who's our Rosh Tevot expert here? It got to be the bearded one, Evan Shraga. That's correct. It is Mikra Megillah. I'm telling you, the guy, as I said last week, he's just a silent assassin. Okay? V'hema Kvar Shamu Mikra Megillah. They've already heard it. V'harav Adayin Lo Shama. So what is the case? It's a great case. Oh, we need an early morning rise. So here we go. Let us say Max and I like to learn together. So we schedule per morning. I'm going to give Shiyur at 7:30. Okay, about per. But then Max is a much better morning person than I am. So Max goes to the 6 o'clock minyan. He shows up at Shiyur. He's already heard Mikra Megillah. He's good to go. I am not such a morning person. I'm planning on going to the 8:30, right? So I'm ready for Shiyur, but I did not hear Mikra Megillah. So what's going to happen when 8:30 comes around? I'm going to stop the Shiyur and go to Mikra Megillah. So, but where, according to Rashash, is the Bittul Torah? Max, right? It's not Bittul Torah for me because Megillah Esther is also Torah. But he might, at this point, move on in his day. He might, okay, that's it. Now I'm going to go play basketball, and I'm going to go give Shalach Manos, I'm going to do other things. right? So, but notice what he tried to do. Again, guys, the commonality of everything we've seen so far is the Bittul Torah is not the Megillah per se. It is something external. It is the walking to the Megillah. It is what might happen after the Megillah. Okay, we're going with category 1. Okay, let's go to category 2. Okay, category 2 is what a few suggested, which was the qualitative loss. Now, what would it mean? Why would Mikra Megillah be qualitatively less than whatever you were living before it? Okay, so let us go to source 5. And this is, oh no, Sarah, I didn't realize I'm going to quote from your rival. Okay, this is terrible. I should have anticipated that. Okay, guys, rabbis, actually Jews who like to learn, so there are several great databases that are out there in the world. One is Safari, of course. One is something called the Shoot Bar Ilan, the Bar Ilan program. You guys heard that also? Okay, now we should all support Safaria because Bar Ilan charges and Safaria does not. That being said, I often find it easier to use the Bar Ilan. Okay, so that's great. I imagine they sold 2 parents in one year. Okay, but
what about Merkava?
I never use Merkava. I do not. No, I really don't have a position. I've never used it once in my life. Really? Okay. And wait, how extensive is the range of data there?
The Gemara is really good.
No, but I'm saying it doesn't compete.
Not this far.
I'm saying if you want, obscure Rishonim, Achronim, right? So Merkava is like a non-player.
They translate some of the Rashis though.
That's what attracts you guys, the translated Rashis?
And it is words line by line for Gemara.
It has a big
stuff.
Oh, you're saying when you use the Safari translation, it's harder to match up?
Yeah.
It tells you it's a refutation too, it's an attack.
Okay. Wait, but Raymond, you're like a budding Talmudist. Maybe Merkava makes it like too easy for you.
Yeah, that's why I don't use it anymore.
Okay, great.
I just use the art scroll instead.
Okay.
Blau.
Yeah.
I'm on the Merkava side. I was one of the students when they tested, they like did stuff to with Merkava when they were saying it if it would be useful or not.
Oh, that's cool actually. How old were you?
I was like 12, and I said no.
Meaning you gave it the thumbs down?
I gave it the thumbs down.
Wow. Did they change the program results or they ignored your opinion?
No, they ignored my...
Well, maybe, to be fair, maybe all the other 12-year-olds, maybe all the 12-year-olds gave a thumbs up.
Well, luckily they didn't because they got me for vices.
What? I see. Oh, that's funny. Okay, that'll be in your memoir one day, right? Despite my attempt to, neutralize Merkava, it got me through high school. Yeah, that'll be a good chapter. Okay, so in any case, let's see what he has here. So they have something called Chavruta, where they have footnotes from obscure Sfarim. So I just find it very helpful. You might not have access to these obscure Sfarim. So here's a good example, guys. Rav Shlomo Schwadron was an important posek. Somehow, I noticed everybody today's from the 1800s. I don't know why this question just took off in the 1800s. So he has the following ideas. It's a sefer called Dat Torah. Uvedat Torah l'marsham tirei tzvidim etos v'brachot shekatvu. Ti'apli sheshomei ka'oneh. We do say if you listen, it's just as good as if you heard. Mikom makom oneh adif mishomeh. How would you know this word? In modern Hebrew, if Nizeli says to you, ma'atam ma'adif, what is he saying? What do you prefer? Excellent. So what does he claim, guys? Even though you shomei ka'oneh, but saying it yourself is better than hearing it. So now let's plug in, guys, what's the obvious argument going to be? When I was in the Beit Midrash learning, what kind of Talmud Torah was I doing? One where I articulate the ideas myself. Now that I moved to Mikra Megillah, I am only listening. And therefore, it's a lesser quality Talmud Torah. Okay, so this is our first approach to try to figure out why I might have reduced quality Talmud Torah. And it is still a little bit of a chiddush, by the way, to use the term bittul if all I'm doing is lowering the quality. Arguably, you shouldn't use the term bittul, but that's what he says. Now, John, you want to raise this, right? Okay, excellent. Does anyone want to challenge his application? And what does he say? I have a Tosfot that says that when we apply Shomea Ka'oneh, it doesn't mean they're equally good. Oneh is better than Shomea. Oh, I think Jack might have it. Jack, go ahead.
They're saying it's like a general qual, but what if you're the one reading the Megillah?
Okay, no, good question. That's not what he meant though. Guys, let's think about what a normal, give me a normal Shomea Ka'oneh scenario. How about, let's use, for sake of argument, repeating the Amidah. Okay, when the Chazan repeats the Amidah, I don't know how to pray myself. How am I Yotzei? I listen to the Chazan and I'm Yotzei through Shomei Kohen. Is that similar to the way Rav Schwadron is applying it, or not the same? Okay, what do you say, Gavi Spinner?
No, because part of the mitzvah of the Megillah is to read along. So you're also actively reading.
Very good. I got a better reason. I've got a different reason though. Okay, I'm going to spell it a little bit more, guys. Okay, there's a mitzvah to recite the Amidah. I could do it myself or do it through listening. Recital's better. There's a mitzvah called Talmud Torah. Does the same logic apply or it doesn't apply? Because what could one argue? Talmud Torah is not necessarily about recital. It's about learning, education, understanding. Arguably, it's less a function of formally saying the words. So I would have thought, this is my suggestion, that it's one thing to say that when it comes to the Amidah, Ona is better. It really is better to say the words yourself than to just listen passively. But maybe in the world of learning, as long as you're getting ideas and getting knowledge, maybe that's an equal form of Talmud Torah either way. So I just want to raise that question. I'm not saying he's wrong. I think one could quibble with the application. Yeah, I'm not sure. I should also call out Choni for his excellent shirt, although I think I still like Zevi's a little better. Okay. The color's a little weird there, Choni. That's okay. Nothing to apologize for.
Maryland.
Maryland.
You went deep.
What does that have to do with it?
You're both good.
Oh, you're both in Maryland. You're saying, but you'll have no occasion to wear your Hawaiian shirts there, though. Although that could be the worst deterioration, though. What if Hawaiian shirts moves from being a sheer Klali thing to being like a pregame thing? Okay, it'll be like the downfall of Okay, here we go. So now the question is, should we do one more qualitative one, or actually let's be fair. Before we get to the third category, let's be fair to Rav Gav. Because let's agree, we agree that nothing we've seen so far has taken Nach as being not Talmud Torah, right? Every explanation was, it's not that the Megillah is not Talmud Torah, it's that you walk to shul. It's that you stop learning afterward. It's that it's a lesser form because you're listening rather than reciting. But it wasn't about Esther not being Talmud Torah. Okay, however, let's go back to the Rishash's first point. And this is where you have to look things up, guys. Okay, let's go back to my teaching people how to skim. Guys, that's my new project for the year, my new educational project. Teaching how to skim Hebrew sources. Okay, so the key is, there's several keys, but one for today. The key is, I shouldn't give it all away on the internet, then I won't be able to charge for it one day. Okay, I won't charge for it. I'll be like Safaria. No kidding. So here you go, guys. One of the keys is the phrases that introduce an idea or suggestion. If you could skip to those, you're always in good shape. So what if I tell you that there are two phrases in the Rashash where you see, that introduces an answer. What are the two phrases in the Rashash that introduce an answer, an explanation? What do you guys got there? So very good. Very good. So Gam Yesh Shlomer was the second one. That's when we saw. Remember the one with the Rebbe and the Talmud, and the Rebbe hasn't heard it yet? Okay, before that, what was the phrase that tells you a Pshat is coming? You did, yeah, excellent. Okay, remember that abbreviation? Lamed Ayin Dalid, La'aniyut Dati, in my humble opinion. But that's a classic rabbinic way to introduce a suggestion. It says what he says. He says, if we just look at Shulchan Aruch, we'll be able to get the answer. But now comes the tricky thing. You have to actually look it up. What is the first answer based on Shulchan Aruch? So here we go, guys. Let's go to source 3. Okay, it's a good day. Maran Mechaber makes an appearance. Okay, here we go. Chayav Adam l'shalish limudo. A person should divide his learning into 3s. Shlish b'Torah shebiktav. 3 Tanakh. Dainu ha'arba of Esrim. Why does he call the arba of Esrim? Because there are 24 Sifrei Tanakh. Okay, we're not going to do it right now, but if you don't know them, guys, my Chumash here know a jingle for all 24. Not that I taught it, they knew it before I got it. Okay, who was the jingle expert? Who had the best one? Berman, right? The Berman one also? No? Who had the Berman one? Oh yeah, okay, so either go to Noam Wogenfeld or to Max, you'll discover they're not the same jingle. So you have a choice of jingles to know all 24 Sifrei Tanakh. Okay, it's pretty exciting. Okay, next. Shlish b'Mishnah, Dainu Torah Shebal Peh, Uperish Torah Shebal Tav Shlish b'Talmud. Now, it sounds like there's Mishnah, which is just like the basic Torah Shabbat, that facts, and there's Talmud, which is our whole analytic universe of Gemara study. So what is the Rav Yosef Karen vision? That the Jewish learner divides his time or her time a third of all three. Okay, let's go to the second paragraph though. Okay, and now things are going to get a little trickier. Bamed Dvar Mamurim, that is a key phrase. What does that phrase always do? Bamed Dvar Mamurim. What does it do to a line of reasoning or a halakhic position? It limits it, right? It's only true in a certain scenario. When is it true? The beginning of your learning career. When you're much more advanced. What does he claim? I got the first two categories down already. I know them. Then, you review occasionally. Right there is for the pro-Gemara people, they love the source. Because what does he say? At an advanced age, what do I do? I put almost all my eggs in the Talmud basket. Okay, and if that's what I should be doing, so clearly what's the Rishash thinking? It might be Bittul Torah at that point to go to Mikra Megillah. So again, I think this is the only source this Rashash is the only source that has that explanation. So I still think it's not the Pshat, but I will admit he does seem to say so. He's the one source who seems to think it is the move from Gemara to Tanakh per se that is the Bittul Torah. I will just point out though, there's one thing that's not clear to me that could severely limit the idea. Meaning, when do I hit this? Okay, the Gabi knows what I'm going to say. What's the stage of Yagdil B'Torah? Right? Because if it's Lo Yitzar Mitzvotav, does that mean I really got off to knock down? Well, couldn't one argue that most of us might never hit that stage? Right? Like, at what point am I going to say, I know off to knock, including, I know, all the middle chapters of Eov, when he and his friends are having a poetic debate about the nature of suffering, right? I don't know, I can't honestly say, right, I think I'm pretty knowledgeable, 57, I don't know those middle pregnant of Eov. I guess I'm not up to this yet, right? I can't yet, that's good, it's my excuse why I have to learn Gemara all day, because I don't know those middle pregnant of Eov. Okay, but, so I think you'd have to figure out where this transition occurs. I mean, it's not so clear to me in the Shulchan Aruch when this transition occurs. Yeah, what are you thinking, Moises?
Yeah, but he does say that you should still go over the...
That's a good question. Moises is very good. Moises is reading very carefully, and he said, even when I hit stage 2, what did he say? I do need the occasional review. So Moises is asking, why can't I just view this Mikra Megillah, which is an excellent question, as that occasional review? I mean, again, the Rashash thinks this could be Bittul Torah because at this stage of my life, I should be Gemara focused. But Moises is pointing out correctly, even at that stage, Yosef Karo thinks that you're supposed to occasionally review the other material. So why can't I just feel this Megillah as the occasional review? Excellent question. Okay, we're now going to go to the third category because I'm running out of time. Oh, Moshe, you can miss the best stuff. It's okay, you can. Okay. What?
He's got a kish to it.
Okay, let us go to the Beta Friday. Okay? Let's go to the Beta Friday. So we're going to see, again, what do we see somewhere, guys? The idea that it's not the Mikra Megillah itself, it is something else. We saw the idea there's a qualitative reduction. That was in the Marsham of Rav Shotron. But what was the third category? That there's something about the experience that's different. But we're going to see a more radical version in the Beta Friday. Says the Beta Friday, when we're reading it, what are we doing? We're not doing Torah study, we're doing Hallel and Persimanes. We're doing something different. But he's going to get even more radical. Look, you go, it's okay. Okay. But here's what he's going to say that's incredibly radical, guys. He's going to claim it's not Riyah Megillah that's different, that stands out, it's Megillah Esther that's different. He's going to claim Megillah Esther was only put in the canon, not to be studied, but to be read. That is radical. If you think it's not radical, I'll show you. Look at the last 3 lines. Imu Korea Megillah be'emtza hashana. Whatever you guess there in November. Obviously, I'm not doing the mitzvah of Megillah. Af im mevin masher koreh, and you do understand it. Eino dome lekore b'nevim v'ktuvim. Shenitnu lilmod v'lo l'shem mitzvot kfiyah b'leiv. That is remarkable. What a wild chiddush. He claims we got 23 Sifrei Tanakh to learn deeply, and one Sefer that's only there to be read in public. So it's not, so again, if he's right, I would say, it's not that Tanakh is not Talmud Torah, it's that Megillah Esther is not Talmud Torah. Now this is a radical idea. I'm just going to throw in a tangent here just for general knowledge. So as you guys may know, when they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, they found 23, at least parts of 23 out of 24 Sifrei Tanakh. Okay, the one good news for you. They also found the book of Enos. That should make you happy. Okay, but they did not find Esther. Now, this is totally wrong. I'm just going to say it anyway. But maybe those Dead Sea Scroll people said, we only like Talmud Torah. So therefore, we don't need the 24th book. That's just for Korea. We just go with Talmud Torah. Okay, now let me just finish two more ideas before I take closing comments. So Henry is astounded, and so is Avnei Nezer. Okay, so the Avnei Nezer was the subject of because I'm going to have to do it outside my time. I really recommend reading the site. It's quite fascinating. Avnei Nezer, I understand. If you ever learn Megillah, right, Mizrach Megillah, what is the Agadita doing from Daf Yud through Daf Tetzayin? The Agadita is expounding on every chapter of the Megillah. Like, what is the implication? Why, for example, why did Esther invite Haman to two parties? What was her strategy? What was she trying to accomplish? Doesn't it seem like we're studying and analyzing? So says Avnei Nezer, of course, it's Talmud Torah. That's a crazy position, right? We've been analyzing, and think about, he doesn't say this, think about all the people who've written commentaries over the years, right? Unlike other parts of Ketuvim, there's a ton of commentary in Megillah Esther, right? Clearly, people were studying it. There's a lot to study there. It is Talmud Torah. But what if we tone it down a little bit? I'll take your comments 1 second, guys. Ever go to the Chachmat Shlomo, last one, Rosh Shlomo Kluber. This is my favorite answer. I can't simultaneously intend two different things. In the Talmud Torah, Einu Ola L'Shem Mitzvot Mikra Megillah. The Mechavein L'Mikra Megillah, Einu Mekayim B'Talmud Torah. That is a remarkable idea. I'm actually liking it a lot. What does he say, guys? It's not that Megillah Esther can't ever be Talmud Torah. Of course it could. But what you guys said before, Kriyat Megillah cannot be Talmud Torah. And what do you say, guys? Sometimes different experiences are different, right? My focus is different. What I'm trying to accomplish is different. Arguably, what am I trying to accomplish on Purim? To hear this story and be emotionally affected by it. But not, I admit, I'm not like that because, I get stuck in my intellectual universe. But maybe I'm still trying to find some shot in the third paragraph. But maybe that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. It's not about what does Achshtar Panim mean, and actually that might be more just the first experience. Fine. It's not just what a beautiful structure the Megillah has. It is the one chiasmus in Tanakh I actually agree with. Right? No, that's not what it's about. Right? It's about experiential things. And the experiential things should get in the way, actually, of Talmud Torah. So I'm going to take closing comments, guys. But we now have 4 categories, and I would like to make a plug for Tanakh. Notice all the Achronim, with the exception of one Pshat in Rashash, not even his only Pshat, we're not willing to say that Tanakh is not Talmud Torah. So I feel pretty confident. If someone tells you that it's Bittul Torah and Tanakh, you can still make fun of them. Okay, it is not Bittul Torah to learn Tanakh. Okay, but just to sum it very briefly, what were your categories? The first Pshat of Rashash did actually suggest that at a later stage it's Bittul Torah to learn Tanakh. We did raise Gabi's question, when do you hit that later stage, and Moises' question, but you're still supposed to review. Okay, then we said maybe it's not the Tanakh itself, it's the other things, right? The walking there, or what might happen afterward. That's the dead time, that's the Bittul Torah. Third category, maybe it's qualitatively worse somehow, which is a big chiddush that you could call a qualitative reduction Bittul Torah. We only explored one because we ran out of time. If you read the whole sheet, you'll explore some others. We said maybe listening as opposed to speaking is a qualitative reduction. I raised the question, is that true in the world of Talmud Torah? Finally, we had the last answer, which is there is something about the two experiences that are contradictory. But first we had the radical approach. What was the radical Beit Ephraim? It's unbelievable. Megillah Esther is the maverick of the 24 books. It's not for learning, it's just for the experiential. Okay, Henry just can't believe it. Okay, no, Henry, you don't accept this. Okay, when Henry teaches the Shiyur one day, he's not even going to quote this. He's so upset. Okay, he's going to excise it from Jewish history. Okay, but we saw that Avnei Nezer said it can't be. Right? We have been studying this book for centuries. We clearly think it's valuable. But I thought the Chachmat Shlomo was a good version of it. to say that of course it's Talmud Torah, but not on Purim Day. On Purim Day, we're searching for a different experience. We're searching for a Kriyat Megillah experience, for a pursuing Nisa experience. That's not the intellectual Talmud Torah experience. All right, last questions, guys. Jeremy Fader.
My question on the Chachma Shlomo is, don't we normally know that reading Kriyat in the morning and at night might fulfill your mission?
Oh, excellent. So, if you keep reading the Chachma Shlomo, and not just the 3 lines I cut out, he discusses the Shema Shlomo. Jeremy Fader, very good. Then what are you planning to do professionally? Yeah. Okay, I think he should be a Talmudist. It's pretty obvious. It's fun, it's interesting. Look, I'm having a good time. Yeah.
Why are we under the impression that this is only distinct Talmud Torah? Because doesn't the Gemara specifically say also Mavata like Avodah, the Avodah?
No, but that's easy. Because, guys, well, let's go. I'm glad you said that. Why is it okay to use the phrase Mavatlin Tal? It doesn't say Mavatlin Torah. Why does it say Mavatlin Avodah? Why is that good? Because you could say, when you're Mavatli your Avodah, Mikra Megillah is not. It's not Avodah. I am a deity, right? It's only Avodah in a very broad sense. It's not Avodah like Avodah in the Mikdash. Right? That's what I mean by Avodah. So I am a Vatal there. Right? Jack? You understand that? Okay, who wants that in? Last one? That's it? Yeah. Yaakov.
Couldn't you make the same argument about something like making Aliyah, which takes time and like stuff? You have to pause your learning.
Okay, it is a great question about someone else should give you a share. Maybe Rav David doesn't philosophy halacha because Rav David loves this topic. Do we apply osek b'mitzvah pater min a mitzvah to Talmud Torah? Yeah, arguably we do not. And how that parameters play? Yeah, it's a very interesting question, but not for us right now. Maybe at some point I'll check it for David Zukin. If he's not doing philosophy halacha, it would be a sure Klali. All right, we're going to end on 2 notes. One from Oakland, one from England. Let's go to Oakland.
Yeah, I was wondering, can you extend? Well, 2 questions. Part is, can you extend the same logic to like the listening experience also to like Torah readings that you have? Or you say that when you're in shul listening to the Torah, it's like a Bittul Torah in a sense.
Well, again, don't forget, this Bittul Torah, we're saying it's the Bittul Torah you're supposed to do.
No.
So even if you say that, you have to say it's the Bittul Torah you're supposed to do.
But like the idea is that when you're listening to like the Torah being read.
Yeah, look, I have to admit, I find it a difficult idea altogether to call that Bittul Torah. Okay, last one, and then a high note here. Let's go.
May I ask my point?
Okay.
I was gonna on the Chachma Shiyur, would that apply to leaning and the other Megillas? It's not.
Look, in theory, the answer is yes. But again, don't forget, guys. No one said in the sugya I should not do this. I mean, I should stay in the base. Everyone said I should look at Megillah. Our question is just why do we call that an act of Bittul Torah, right? But the psak was clear. Okay, guys, everybody should have a wonderful Shabbat. Just remind you again, do not try to top Elia. I warn you now, you will not get a caught.